every person, every animal, every living being, living creature, while in form, has a personal life stream. If we could say that in the kingdom of animals, which is the tree of the kingdom of animals, it has many branches, billions or trillions of branches, and each of that branch is a stream of life for that particular creature, for that fish, for that bird, insect, for the mosquito that you catch and the stream finishes. Next life comes up. Same way in the human kingdom, every human being in the great tree of life has a personal stream of life, life stream. I can even see it with the inner eye having like a green color, a green stream of life. And this stream is anchored in your personal self, regardless of your level of consciousness. As long as you have a body, everybody has that life stream anchored as a personal, not personality, but you know what I mean, the stream of life of this form. And this form is temporary. It will dissolve. And that stream of life withdraws, and then it is decided on the higher plane for the soul whether to take, in most common cases, yes, of course, to take another form. And the stream of life then flows into that other form, and a new baby is born. The soul is the same, and the soul withdraws the stream of life, and then it puts it back into the new form. So your life stream is the essence of this present life. However old you are, whatever you did in your life, good and bad, it is your stream of life. It is beautiful. It is sacred. Now, even when in the next 5 years, when there will be robots walking around us, very intelligent, probably more intelligent than any average human person, they will be intelligent machines, but they do not have life stream or the soul. They will function as a hive, as a cloud. In a more older terminology, it would be called the hive mind. Nowadays, we call it the cloud, or we call it the artificial intelligence. It wasn't called organic intelligence. It's called artificial intelligence. So soon it will become part of our everyday lives. In Asia, we saw a autonomous robo cleaner, and they put a beautiful smiley face, like a sticker of a big smiling face, with some cute sounds, and it was driving around and it nearly bumped into me, but it didn't. in the airport, we were walking with the hand luggage. It stopped, and then it just continues its own way. And it kind of, oh, well, this is how it's gonna be. It's just gonna have so many more of those doing all sorts of functions. But anyhow, these are artificial forms, and the biological forms have a life stream and a soul. Now, how do we attain eternal life? First of all, who wants eternal life? The true life. True life means not that all my wishes are God's commands. God is not a genie to fulfill every single ego desire. But what is true life? Very few understand what is true life. Even fewer seek for the true life. Eternal, it doesn't mean that your body will carry on forever, although some billionaires are working on that already. They already presume that by 2030 there will be, I would say maybe just add a few more years, 2035, there will be technologies to keep prolonging life by decades, and then every 5 years you will add another decade, and then that's mathematically means that you can live very long. And this is already calculated. It's a hot topic. But prolonging the physical life is not eternal life. It can be long life, but not eternal life. Humans think in decades, very few in hundreds of years. Historians, perhaps, futurists, think in hundreds of years. Thousands of years, nobody's thinking about thousands of years into the future, because we don't know even what's next year gonna happen these days. It's getting wild. Before, 30 years ago, you were like, you pretty knew what your job is, and it will be your whole life until you retire. Things were certain, more or less. Nowadays, people don't know what they will do for a job next year, even if the job will exist at all next year. Maybe it will next year, next few years. That's another topic. Eternal life, true life. What does that mean? Now you may say, yes, it's living forever in the bliss of God, but do you really understand what that means? The true life, the eternal life. Jesus spoke of the kingdom of the heaven. Buddhists have a different view. There's gonna be nothing. But it's gonna be fine. It's a bit of a sales pitch of these days of the globalists, isn't it? You're gonna have nothing, but you're gonna be happy. But Buddhists, of course, understand that emptiness is nirvana. It's freedom from all suffering, from all bondage. So true life is life without bondage. It's life without ignorance. It's life without illusion, maya. It's life without optional suffering, self self-inflicted suffering out of ignorance. Now, people typically say, oh, this happened and I'm suffering because of it, but it's because of ignorance. From a bigger view, it's that ignorance that caused it, and not understanding the true life. What is moksha? Freedom, liberation. Not saying again that you won't feel any pains, back pains anymore when your age advances, joints and so on. Oh, these are pains of the body, but suffering is a much bigger deal. It's a much deeper thing. At the end of the day, who is the one who feels pain? Who is suffering truly and really? So eternal life has a key, and it's not the chalice that now as heroes and knights we need to look for alchemical formulas of physical rejuvenation. You see, we have these stories all over mythology. But then we have another tradition that touches upon it is Ascension. Ascension into the light body. Some consider that as eternal life, though in reality, ascension to the light body or rainbow body, as per Buddhist tradition, or the Ascension teachings. Why is it still said body, rainbow body, light body? Because it's a higher form. It's a higher form. And yes, it lasts much longer. The light body can last, well, typically they count in thousands of years. Light body is designed to last for thousands of years, sometimes tens of thousands. Rarely one would keep it longer than that, because light body is at a certain plane of existence. It is a form, it is a body, it is part of your life stream, which is larger. It's no longer the little stream of the physical body and this life. The light body is like much greater. It's not as big as Ganga or Amazon or River Nile, but the medium-sized river. So even light body, rainbow body is not yet eternal life. It's a heavenly body, but not yet eternal life. Now, how about the bodhisattvas and Christ itself, the mighty I Am Presence? Now that's a Ganga. That's the River Nile, the Amazon River. It's great, it's mighty, it's vast form of consciousness. It's huge. Now that's where we can speak of typically millions of years. For some vast beings, even billions of years. These are truly mighty forms. And they exist in Brahmanda and also Par-Brahmanda. Very, very few ever reach, abide, and live in the true eternal life, in the true eternity, because that is only the soul who reaches the divine Satya Lok, Sachkhand, having shed all the karma, all the bondages. Along the way, many things have been realized. Many times awareness been realized, the self has been realized, the mighty I Am presence have been realized, the Christ itself has been in contact. But for the soul to reach the true divine abode and live the true eternal life is rare indeed. Do we have examples? Yes, we do. Because Buddha, Jesus, Krishna, Meher Baba, many others, Kabir, of course, have spoken from that place. They adopted the various types of language, because Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth. Meaning not personally himself, he more referred to the Christ within. But Buddha spoke completely different language. He said nirvana is that liberation. He used different terms. Mahavira used again different language for the Jains. Rumi spoke of love, the eternal union with the beloved, the ultimate love that ever exists. The Santmat masters, the true masters, because in Sikhism and Sanmat there are many gurus and supposedly Sadgurus, but not all of them reach that region, though some of them believe they have. The true eternal life is not a heaven, it's not a paradise along the way, it's not a body to sustain. It is reunion, complete. In better said, removal of all bondages. All the bondages of the cycles of existence. How do we do this? Now that we know what is the eternal life, so what is the key to the eternal life? First of all, it's the living teacher. Because the living teacher is the living transmission. It's not a book or a teaching where you pick it up, you read about these great sayings, great knowledge, great truths. That's beautiful. But the living master is the living transmission. A book will not tell you personally, do this and not that. A book will not unbind your soul. It is the living master who does that on the inner plane, who reconnects the soul with the divine stream, the path to the divine, the true life, eternal life. The true life is not dissolution in reality into nothingness, where nothing no longer exists and everything is void and empty as such. That's not exactly what Buddha meant, although some have misinterpreted it so. The true eternal life is the everlasting bliss, everlasting existence, living. Initiation is the great beginning. The true masters teach to invert your attention, to leave the body of with the 6 chakras and the senses. You say, hey, hold on, there are 7 chakras. I know what I'm talking about. Yes, the 6 chakras are the ones where the souls are trapped and wander in the world of senses and the world of energy. So the true life is not attained with the next ecstatic dance, with the next ayahuasca ceremony, with the next awesome LSD journey, or whatever other shortcuts people try to make, or have some experiences. These are tools. These are specific things, good and bad, for specific times. But the beginning starts with inversion of your attention to leave the senses and the 6 chakras. And therefore, when we meditate, we start with the point between the eyebrows, the 6th door. We need constant remembrance, constant familiarity. That's why we have satsang. Sat sang, true communion, where we take time to remember, to sit, to familiarize, to be reminded, to be assisted. Remembrance can be also done as repetition of sacred names that are given and charged by the living teacher, that help to purify the mind, that help to attune to the deeper self and the eternal divine stream. The key to eternal life is also contemplation, devotion, and love. And contemplation deeply within on the master's inner form, not the outer shell. You know, the hair, the beard, now the glasses is a new thing. Not the outer form, but the inner radiant form. Contemplation on the inner radiant form, which is the potential, which shows the way. It's nothing personal. It is the example of your potential to show you the way. That's what Jesus also meant, that I am the way. He meant that I will show you how. I'll help you out. And we'll overcome the obstacles. The mind has tendency to wander away. Life has tendency to grab your attention and give you problems, to distract you from the true life. Do you want to spend your life solving common, regular problems of life? Or do you want to spend time to attain the true life? Because everybody has problems. Everybody has responsibilities. We all can be so busy. And I typically find that people who are on the lower level of consciousness, they're the busiest ones. They have time for nothing. They don't even have time for meditation because they're so busy. They have so many problems, so many responsibilities. But those people who are either on a higher level of consciousness or who are much wiser in life, even those who have many businesses, they find time. They find time for meditation, meetings, retreats. Even if they have families, businesses, like a million times more things than that regular person who assumes that they're too busy for everything. A wise person will find the time, because a wise person knows priorities. So therefore, satsang, association with a great company, is utmost importance. Your association with a great company is that which elevates you. Association with a bad company will give you more problems. Another key to eternal life is dying while living. If you die while living, you will not die twice. But if you wait for the death to come and see what happens, there will be many more deaths to come. Because those who die while living, they know exactly what's on the other side of the door, and on the other door, and beyond, and beyond, and beyond. They open all the doors and all the mysteries and attain the true eternal life. It is voluntary rising above body consciousness, unbinding from the cycles of birth, death, while living. It is not a typical Christian view of do good and you'll go to heaven. And what's then? What's next after that? How long will you be in that heaven? Where is that heaven? Who manages that heaven? This has been simplified over the ages, dumbed down, like there's a Bible for dummies. So Christianity has been dumbed down for dummies. I'm sorry if that insults someone, but it's not what Jesus taught. But the mainstream Christianity has been severely dumbed down. Because before that, there was much greater knowledge of the heavens and the soul and reincarnation. Yes, that's also part of the true Christian tradition. Reincarnation, yes. It's been edited out, simplified, dumbed down. So of course, Kabir said those who die before death become immortal. By the Guru's grace, die while living, and you shall not have to die again. And you shall not have to die again. Sant Kirpal Singh says the same thing. And he says that by meeting the liberated one, through his mercy, we can learn to die while living, and in due course become the conscious co-worker of the divine plan. Now that's interesting bit, becoming a conscious co-worker of the divine plan. Do we have any proof of that? Yes, we do. A lot of proof that these greatest avatars were co-workers of the divine plan. We know that avatars come during the shift of the ages to assist with the transformation. Jesus came to do his work, to do his mission. Buddha also came to do his work, to do his mission, because he was the world teacher. He, Buddha and Jesus and Krishna and so on, they were the world teachers. And they each have a duration of time to do the will of the divine. To do the will of the divine. In different regions for different peoples and different cultures. To do the will, to be the co-worker of the divine. The typical notion that when you attain union with God or realize the self, that's it, you're a free bird, you just merged into the self and it's like you poof, you disappear. That's not the case at all. It's a misconception, of severe misconception, because we can see the great co-working of Ramana Maharishi to this day on the inner planes. We see the great co-working of all of these wonderful masters on the inner planes. This is why you must familiarize with the workings of the inner planes. This is why we introduce you and familiarize you with the masters of various lineages. And when you attain a certain resonance, you will start to feel their presence on the inner planes, because they're conscious co-workers of the divine. So we could say that Divine Marga is a practical training in the right way of living, in the eternal way of living, in the eternal way of living. Even Rumi said, as long as you do not die while living, how will you obtain the true benefit? Therefore, die and come out of your body. Because the externalized attention, everybody wants your attention in the external. And when you invert it, you come into the contact with the deeper power within. And when the masters leave the bodies, Kabir says, why cry at the death of the saint? He's just going back to his home. Why cry at the death of a saint? He's leaving, he's going home. His work continues. So the true eternal life is not postponed until the or after the death, but it is realized, attained here and now.